This is Real Estate Talk Boston. I'm Chris Devon, and today I'm joined by local agent and host of the new A&E show, 60 Seconds to Sell, Danny Griffin. Danny, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm humbled by the opportunity to be with such a great goaltender like yourself.
I don't know about that. But let's talk about 60 Seconds to Sell, right?
Yeah.
First off, I'm a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Great show.
Thank you.
It's interesting because it's not your typical real estate reality show. There's a lot of them out there right now. You guys are really taking a completely different approach to selling a home.
I think it's the viewpoint of real estate. Everybody's intrigued by real estate. I mean, it's very fascinating to a massive part of the population because, you know, really when you think about it, Chris, and you're involved in the industry, so you get it too. Food, air, water, shelter. I mean, it's right up there with the basic needs. And I think sometimes we forget about that. That's why we're so really driven by it. It's a very important part of survival. Being in a house, being in a home, feeling safe and secure. So I think from that standpoint, that's the global area that real estate covers. But when you go to TV, my frustration was seeing all of these shows about flipping. And I think that's fun, but a lot of it I don't feel is realistic. I think when you see some of this and everybody's trying to, you know, grab this house and flip it, as you and I both know, there's massive cost to that stuff. So I was really chomping at the bit to get out there as somebody who's been a professional on the sales side. Okay, I've been an investor. That's how I started. I flipped houses. I've done commercial development. So I had that background. But what was more important to me was the human endeavor that's involved in this thing. I mean, here's somebody that's about to make the largest financial and emotional transaction that they're ever going to make in a lifetime. I mean, come on. Doesn't that wake you up when you really think about it? So I wanted what I've been doing passionately, helping these people since the late 90s, to come to TV and say, look, there's more to it than flipping a house. This is somebody's life, and there's movement for all reasons. Something goes really wrong in somebody's life, as has happened over this whole recession. Somebody gets in trouble and they think it's the end of the world. You can help that person solve that problem. Or on the happier side of things, I'm dealing with a client right now that's moving up out of a condominium, and the market's been tough to sell that condominium. And she was in tears. Think about, will I be here forever? Will I be trapped? I want to start this family and move. I mean, that just gets me so jazzed. I wanted that to come to national TV, right. that viewer standpoint, so they could look in and say, that's me. You know, not everybody's going to flip a house in a lifetime, but a lot of people will be involved. And even if they're renting, it's still that same emotional whole rigmarole that they have to go through to get in and out of those situations. So.
You and your brother John are definitely infectious when you're watching the show. The energy is there. Yeah. For the person out there who hasn't seen the show, once again, it airs on A&E on Saturdays at noontime.
Yes.
Are you really selling a home in 60 seconds?
Well, that's a fair question. And this is where everybody wants to say, well, how does that really happen? Well, the truth is, in that moment, yes. But how you get to that moment is a road that you have to travel. And if you want to set yourself up for success in that 60 seconds, preparation is everything. So when we filmed the show, it was really what we do. If I were to walk into your home, or anybody's home for that matter, the first thing I would do is get a feeling for condition. What kind of condition is this house in, and how will the buyers perceive that? Because I'll tell you right now, the majority, in my experience, the majority of buyers walk through that door and they really don't want to do a lot of work unless that's very clearly their mindset, that they're trying to buy a distressed sale and add value to it. Most people are busy. And as things in this internet age get more hectic and more busy and time is swallowed up, they just want to turn the key and put their head down and call it home sweet home. So preparing it for that moment is very important. Now, people say, well, geez, I've got deferred maintenance for years. I haven't done all this work. What should I do? Well, there's a lot of ways to help yourself for no cost. I'm talking some blood, sweat, and tears. Get in there and clean the place up. A coat of paint that's inexpensive. Do it yourself if you can't afford somebody to help you with it. The landscaping, you pull up, it should feel like it's clean. It doesn't have to be robust with all of these flowers and plantings. It needs to be clean. So I think from that standpoint, you really want to help those people get prepared. And that can take a little bit of time. Now on the show, that time was really put under pressure because we met most of these sellers in a very short window of time. So the pressure was on them. And we asked very clearly, can you get this done in time? So that was a very real tense part of the show where
You
we
can
would
see the people, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
in their faces.
Oh, yeah.
You want this done by
1,000.
3 days
That's
from now.
right, 1,000% authentic, because people look at it and say, well, geez, you know, I haven't really thought about this. Well, right, that's okay, because you hadn't been thinking about selling it. But I'm the expert, my brother's the expert. We're here to help you see what you should do. Now, there is some time pressure. But if you want top dollar, look at, if you turn to me and you say you can't do anything, fine. But when we come to the auction point in that 60 seconds, it's going to be more difficult to get you a higher value, obviously. People are going to pay for the shine and they're going to discount for the dirt, period. So that has to be taken into account, but that's okay. If somebody's in trouble and they don't have a nickel left to their name, short sales. Something that's upside down where somebody is financially distressed, no problem, we'll still sell it. But understand that's not going to put you at the higher end of the potential trading range for that property in that given time. So that preparation, Chris, to answer your question, can be condensed into a week, a couple weeks, but it still has to happen. But that 60 seconds, man, that's what you're playing for right there.
Thank you, Danny. Great information. I'm a fan of the show myself. I look forward to many more episodes to come.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to tune in yourself, you can do so by going to A&E every Saturday at noon. And remember, if you're looking for the real talk of Boston real estate, you can tune into our show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. right here on Radio BDC.
Tune into Radio BDC Sunday mornings at 7 to hear Chris Devon and his guest list of top-notch local real estate professionals deliver the timely truths of the greater Boston real estate market.